Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with My Hero Academia Season 5. We are on episode 14, and in the last episode, we had an incident take place in Dacre City, which is a new place that we have never been before, and it was levelled by a villain who I thought was not Shigaraki, and apparently it turns out that it is. So okay then. Apparently they've wanted to go more towards what he actually looks like in the manga, so they've changed his hair colour to pure white. It also looks like it's a bit longer. Of course, you know, with the passage of time, it would. So there's that. But then, I mean, that, I don't know, that I guess gives us some more questions as to why is he out there naked? I mean, we know that he's a bit manic, so, you know, him just laughing in the face of just, you know, in the midst of all of this chaos is not a surprise there. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, I mean, we're going to get more information on it anyway, you know what I mean? It's not like this is just going to be swept under the rug and we're never going to hear about it again. But I do assume that, you know, with Endeavour, this is where we'll be heading to next. Speaking of which, Todoroki asked Bakugo and Deku if they wanted to go to Endeavour's agency, seeing as, you know, they haven't, you know, decided where they wanted to go yet. Deku obviously can't go back to the Night Eye agency now because of, you know, they don't have time or space for him right now, and with Gran Torino busy as well, he didn't have a place to go anyway. So going to Endeavour's agency is going to be really cool, and I hope that Bakugo also goes as well. That's my hope. But there's this whole thing with you know, Best Jeanist and whatnot, which Bakugo seems to be taken actually seriously, which is cool. But one thing that I didn't actually mention in the last episode is that Best Jeanist actually said in the second year. So that I doubt that's something that's going to be happening now. I don't think Bakugo is going to go to Best Jeanist agency now. And that will be something that happens in the second year. So the hope is that Bakugo does go to Endeavour's agency as well. You know, because then we're just going to get that, you know, the big trio all together, hopefully at some point fighting the villains at the same time. Which kind of gives us what I assume is going to be like a sort of preview for the new movie that's going to be coming out, which is, you know, focusing on those three. So, you know, that's going to be really cool. So yeah, other than that, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. So I think we're just going to get straight into it. So yes, as always, the reaction will be here on YouTube. But if for whatever reason it gets taken down for copyright in the future, I will re-upload this as a discussion-only video, and the link to the reaction will be in the description below. As always, the link to the full length to this episode is in the description below as well. So if you do want to watch my full-length reaction to this episode and not just the cut 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you. But yes, nothing else to talk about, so we're going to get in episode 14, see what we get. So without further ado, let's go.
What happened the other day was unfortunate.
Yeah, agreed. Most of the problems could have been avoided, though, if you just given me a heads up.
The Derby on the other side.
Would have liked to have dealt with things a little more efficiently.
You're talking too much. You can't trace this call.
Give me a break. No way you can cast me aside. You're reaching out to me like this because you know how much I'm worth to you.
This is your last chance.
Knew it.
I'll have you show your loyalty. Not just to the League of Villains, but the entire anti-establishment cause.
I wonder what he's going to have to go through with.
How are you holding up these days?
Oh, okay.
Much better, thanks.
Oh, fuck, I hope... Oh, no! I hope this isn't like... He's like the new target.
I plan to return to the public eye soon. There are many eager for me to be on the streets again.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh,
this doesn't
man.
feel right. Did something happen? Did I do something wrong?
Oh, shit. The Best Jeanist being this new target.
I can't start doubting my resolve.
This is the new opening. Wow, this one feels very different. I can't wait. I can't wait. Who that guy is with a pointy nose. That's a good opening, by the way. I like it.
Thanks to escorts from Pro Heroes, we were able to spend the night celebrating with the people we cared about. Remember that girl I told you about? Eri, the one we rescued?
I do.
Well, look here. She wrote me the nicest letter. She did it while practicing her spelling and stuff. Honestly, I couldn't help her as much as I'd have liked to.
Oh, bless, she can't
But
spell
she did her
properly.
best writing this for me.
Talking to you like this, seeing that look on your face, I don't think I'll worry as much anymore.
Off to Endeavor's agency.
Promise me you'll take care of yourself.
I feel like I haven't heard this
And text as much as you can.
this music in a while. I feel like the last time I heard this was in like end of season 1.
What's up? I'm back.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd flown off somewhere. Number
Slide and
2.
go.
You can't keep coming and going as you like. Don't forget, I outrank you here, Hawks. Got it?
Sure about that?
Huh?
It's my first time hearing such a thing. Then you must also be in a position to obtain classified information from influential heroes. Hawks provides these. Thanks to the countless micro devices installed in his wings.
Slide and go is a part of this as
I
well.
was watching you the whole time. You almost bought black coffee and freaked out.
I want to know what that place is called.
Welcome to the Endeavor Agency. I can't believe I have to train you.
It's already done, so don't complain.
Shoto!
I've been
Shoto!
taking some supplementary lessons. You're a jerk.
Son, are you really friends with this delinquent?
But if I can see how the top hero works, I don't really care.
I never thought I'd be so happy to
Appreciate
see
you
Batgirl
allowing
and
us to
Endeavor
cover
like
studies with you, sir.
converse. And the last time these two talked, Deku
His
gave him
intensity
some
and
shit,
intimidation
didn't he?
make him stand out.
That sounds perfect. It's a great opportunity.
I don't think we're going to be getting a
If
new
I were
one
you, I'd
anytime
try
soon.
to bust all of them out.
Well,
This is good timing for you too, young Bakugo. I'd say you and Endeavor are similar in many ways. Do your best. If you two want to be top heroes, this is a solid next step.
Yeah, that's when the last converse. That
Shoto is not me. You said that. Sorry about this, but I only intend to look after my son.
what are your instructions?
What's going on here?
Run! Flee this place, citizens! The corners of Pluto's mouth twist with loneliness.
What?
Well, dang.
He looks like some kind of old wizard.
This is crappy timing.
Guy's like melting glass and reforming it.
Endeavor started running before the sound of the impact.
Yeah, like, it's
It's not
crazy
just a
like how
matter of being fast.
he's perceptive.
That's a servant of the stars from the second ward.
What's he yelling about so early?
Servant of the stars.
This land will soon be devoured by darkness!
Are there any heroes around here to help us?
Damn right there is.
Show yourself, messenger of Pluto!
This is insane.
Flash fire fist! I'm afraid I can't let you get away with this. Handle evacuations!
What's that? I don't think I'm getting away, old man.
Do it!
Ah, do a lead, luring him in. He just burned through. Nice.
What's this? Got yourself some followers.
I said to warn me before showing up.
Didn't have time.
He's the source! The fire he gives off blinds you! He will be the demise of our world!
He's like a preacher.
Got it done with no casualties again.
Nice to meet you, sir. I'm from UA High's hero course. I'm in class 1A. My name is Izuku Midoriya.
Yeah, you're the kid who destroys his fingers. I've heard about you from Tsukiyomi.
You may be quick, but I was still faster than you.
Well, what is it you want, Hawks?
You happen to have read this book?
Meta Liberation War?
It was written a while back, but it has predictions about the future that seem pretty relevant today. I highlighted some parts if you don't have time to plow through the whole thing. I suggest you read those.
I feel like
The
this is.
leader of the Meta Liberation
this was
Army
brought up
was
before,
named
wasn't it?
Destro. What he wanted was a society upheld
Yeah.
by personal responsibility.
And your point is?
If that comes to fruition, we'll have too much time on our hands. I'm probably being watched, so I can only tell you like this. Understand my message, number one. I just want to take it easy and have some fun.
Yeah, it
My
goes
goal
against
is to
what
make
he
this
said.
a world where heroes have too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
Why do I feel as though something's not right?
Make sure you read through it, okay?
A book that Hawks is pushing? I should check it out too.
Here you go. I brought extras just in case.
So prepared. Where did they come from?
Train hard. I've been recommending it to heroes across the country. You watch. By the time I'm through, there will be a groundwork for the liberation ideology. You should at least look over the highlighted lines.
He's highlighted certain ones.
I recommend the second part. You?
Almost saying that is almost giving too much away to
Train
the
your
villains.
study students thoroughly.
That guy's annoying.
Yes, he is.
Welcome to the Endeavor Agency.
Call us the Flaming Sidekickers!
Holy whoa.
You're
My sidekick burning!
gonna learn a lot. This agency is totally different than the classroom you're used to. You're gonna have to work hard to shine here. Sorry.
You don't say. So we'll just have to beat the pros at their own game.
You can try.
There's so much going on.
It is the #1 agency. Never a dull moment around these parts. Over 100 different requests filter through this office on any given day.
Yeah, you would
Why
feel
are
like
we
there's
just
no
standing
downtime.
around here when we could be working?
Wait for Endeavor's orders, okay?
You said there were over 100 requests, right? Send us out somewhere!
John, please, it's our first day.
You gotta stand proud, Endeavor, and tell everyone that there's nothing for them to worry about.
Why did he sound so different? It's like he was completely negating everything from before.
Yeah.
He usually has that vapid smile, saying whatever comes to mind. Why the change?
You should at least look over the highlighted lines. I recommend the second part.
There's something he can't say, so he's trying to get information across another way. The second part.
It's going to be in code. Like, it's... Is it going to be as straightforward as it looks? Because obviously I can't read it, so... I feel like if I knew Japanese, I would be able to pick on
it. The second word from each highlighted part.
I'm sure the Commission has deciphered my encrypted code. I just hope Endeavor picks up on it. With a number of heroes secretly joining the Liberation Front, the Commission won't want anything I've discovered to be made public.
So Slide and Go is
I can't
actually...
believe I made serious eyes at him to try to get him to pay attention.
The enemy is the Liberation Army. They number over 100,000.
Damn!
In 4 months.
They're gonna attack in 4 months.
In 4 months. We need to be prepared, because that's when they strike.
Shit! Oh, will we ever get to that point? Or are they gonna cut it out before it comes to that? 100,000! Shit! You see, Shigaraki there in the ending has blue hair. So, I don't know. Maybe they made the ending, like, before. Okay, episode 14. I really enjoyed this episode. It's like... There's such a different tone, I feel like. That this is almost like... It's going into territory that I don't think we've had before. Like, it feels dark. And I hope that whatever Hawks was carrying in that bag, I hope fucking God it's not Best Genius, man. Because that bag was only in like one scene when he was carrying it, and then he didn't have it again when he got to this what I assume is like this Liberation Army headquarters place. I hope that's not Best Genius, because I mean they you know, that would be insane. Because this is the thing, like, if that is what he has to do, then of course I'm not with him in that regard. But then he has to do something to gain that you know, that trust, that loyalty from Dabi to get in with the League of Villains and everything like that. But to that degree, that's when it's not worth it, you know? Like, that's when it's like... That's when you're teetering on the... Like, the Commission itself being not good people. Because then it's just greater good territory, and... You know what I mean? That's like a fine... That's a fine line, that one. Hawks obviously puts it down, like, you know, he's, like his resolve and everything. And I know that he's the perfect one to pull this off because of the way that he thinks about, you know, heroes and everything like that. Like, he's the one with that mentality that it works well with him being at the helm for that. No other person could really you know, I imagine push themselves to do certain things, but even like Hawks to that degree. That's the thing, I think, with what's so interesting about Hawks as a character is like you get the feeling that you know his motive is good, because we get the insight with him, right? We're the ones that are privy to his monologue, like his monologues that are inside his own head. So he's not going to be lying. Like, if he's talking about the situation in his own head, he's not going to be lying to like himself. Whatever he's saying there is true. That's part of his, whatever motive it is actually there, that all of that is truth, because you wouldn't have somebody monologue only talking to themselves who knows their own motive just as a ploy to throw the audience off, right? Unless what they're talking about in their own head is purposefully vague. But I feel like that's the interesting thing about Hawks, is that even though we are privy to like his monologues and everything that's in his own head, that we think we know his true motive, but then there's still that almost like, is there something more to it? This is the interesting thing, you know? Because he might have his favourites. Like, for example, when it comes to Endeavour, I have no doubt in my mind that he wants the best for Endeavour and everything like that. But I'm wondering if maybe there's a possibility that he's trying to, I don't know, like maybe steer this society in a different direction to what it has been. But I don't doubt that he truly wants what his true thing, like he really does want to be, like, you know, to society, to get to a point where he can be lazy and he doesn't have to do things, you know, because then that means the world is truly at peace. But this whole thing with the Liberation Army, this was brought up before, wasn't it? I'm sure, like this was brought up before. I've got fucking kids out there just shouting their fucking head off. Honestly, I hate kids. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know, like, I can't remember if it was brought up. I think it was brought up in the show, and it wasn't the movie that it was brought up, right? I think it was previously in the show, possibly like the first couple episodes, or it might have even been season 4. But I do recall it because I specifically remember the name Destro as being like sort of like the head of this whole thing. Like, he's the one that almost started it. And that what he wanted was a society with personal responsibility. So it's almost a thing of like, he doesn't want society to be based on, people having to be saved by others almost. It's like everyone is responsible for themselves and that is it. And having like those, I guess what you would class as, because you could class as like heroes almost being like first class citizens in a way. And those below aren't as, I don't know, revered. I mean, accepted wouldn't even be the right word, I don't think. But all it takes is, I mean, considering the fact that they've literally pointed out that there's 100,000 strong in this army. Now, to what extent are those people with, like significant quirks? And how much of those are just everyday people that are just a part of it, like doing other jobs, like possibly like, like they could be like in office work, for example, for whatever the Liberation Army is actually doing behind the scenes, like filing papers and shit like that, and make sure everything is running smoothly. I don't know, because if you're talking about 100,000 and all of them are like, like legit able to fight or use their quirks for, to actually to fight, as in what an army would do, then that's scary. That is a scary amount, and it almost has this like kind of like hiding in plain sight factor about the whole thing. Like, this was something that just has not been, like, it almost feels like the feeling that I get from it is something that it's always been there, like hidden in plain sight. Like, these people who are a part of it are just like among the civil, like the among the community. Like they're just in and around it, you know. But it's like it's come out like because it's getting to that point. They've said that it's 4 months until they strike, so like it's getting to that point now where it has come out because Hawks has figured it out. Like, but this is the interesting thing: is like, is there a clear, like, definitive difference between the League of Villains and the Liberation Army? You know, because this is the thing that, like, it has a different feeling from the League of Villains, but the thing that, like, throws me to, like, what makes me think that they are either one and the same or basically just kind of on the same wavelength, I guess, so they're kind of working together, is based upon what Dabby said at the very beginning of the episode, which was, I need you to prove your loyalty to us, like not just the League of Villains, but the anti-establishment cause. Now the Liberation Army, I assume, is that. So there must be some in tandem, like, working together, where the League of Villains is kind of it could be like just an offshoot, or it is just like they are completely different, but they are working sort of in tandem with each other. I mean, it could just be a thing that they're like both of their causes kind of reach a common goal, so they may not have even met each other, but they understand what they're doing, so it's just a kind of thing that they go along with it. It could be that. I mean, the other thing to take into account as well is last episode, and if that guy at Deka City was actually Shigaraki, then that is an interesting one, because they said that there was 20 people there that caused it, and we know that there's not 20 people in the League of Villains. So, you know, it's one thing to just basically say that, yeah, I guess Shigaraki was working alongside others in the Liberation Army to cause that disaster, and the fact that they've come within 2 episodes of each other makes sense. So they are working together to some degree, I feel like, if that is Shigaraki. You see, the interesting thing is that I said during the new ending, the credits, that Shigaraki's hair is still blue in that. You know? But I did make the point that the ending could have been animated and everything done before they actually did all of the animating for the actual, you know, the show itself. But I mean, people are certain that is Shigaraki, so I don't know. It's interesting. But yeah, this is crazy. I'm very excited for what's to come, because it feels like a different. Like I said, it feels like a different tone to what we've previously had before. Because it never, like, the thing is that previously with the likes of, you know, Overhaul, that kind of story was something that was almost bred sort of as we went along. Like, it came out and it was relatively it was kind of new territory, but it didn't feel like it was, like, with Overhaul, it was that much established. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that crew and everything was relatively new, and they were trying to push their whole thing, but in the end, it didn't amount to that much. I mean, the whole arc came across, like, what was it, like 12 episodes? So, you know, it was like it had been and gone, but it was something that wasn't truly established. I feel like. Whereas this Liberation Army thing feels like it's been established, possibly even going back to the start of the show. Like, it could have been there, you know? I feel like with the fact that they've managed to accrue 100,000 people, I feel like that amount of time, like, it would probably take that amount of time to actually, like, accrue that many that are so on board. Of course, the whole thing with, like, Stain and everything like that, once that whole thing came around, that would have accelerated that process, I feel like. Because they were saying that people were already on board with what Stain was doing at that point, because there was that video that was released, wasn't there? And you had people who were kind of agreeing with his side of things. That's pretty much what got the Vanguard Action Squad on board with the League of Villains and everything like that. And I feel like, you know, I mean, even after All Might had given, you know, the last of his power and everything like that, that would have also been a spur on and accelerated the process as well. But I feel like this is something that has been established for like a long time, so it feels like there is a lot of meat to, like, you know, invest in. I feel like there's a lot of places that we can go, and it's all going to be intriguing. The sort of the mystery of it and everything is enthralling, and I can't wait to get into it. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. It's crazy. This whole thing with Hawks, man. Like, it not being the #1 hero, of course, what Dabby's saying, right? That, and then, you know, he shows up at Best Jeanist's, you know, apartment, whatever. I hope he's alright, man. Because that would suck. That would really suck. Him, like, being the new target. You know, he's kind of out of the picture, like he's not in the public eye, which means that it's almost like a perfect target for what, you know, Hawks was obviously trying to achieve to get that trust. But that would just suck. You see, there's this thing as well. There's this. I mean, I know that Bakugo is like this with everyone, you know, to varying degrees, but there seems to be like a definite clash of, I guess, personalities between Bakugo and Hawks. Because Bakugo, you know, he has that determination to be the #1 hero and everything like that. Hawks doesn't really. He looks at it a completely different way, right? We all know that. So it almost feels like there's a clash of personality there. And because in the last episode we had this whole thing where Bakugo was seriously, like, thinking about what he learned at the Best Jeanist Agency and everything like that, and him going back, that, you know, if it turns out that, like, Hawks has done something to, like, Best Jeanist, that, you know, if we're looking at the worst case scenario, like, things could turn, like, bad, you know. This is the thing, like, I don't know how this ends, really. Like, you know, when we come to the conclusion of the Liberation Army, or even, not even, you know, that, but whatever the conclusion of Hawks' involvement with trying to infiltrate, that I don't know to what end his story is, you know? Because if he has done something bad, I don't know how you come back from that, and I don't know how you get, like, I don't see it as being a forgiven thing. But the story could go in a way that basically, you know, we end this and the Liberation Army or whatever has not won the war, so to speak, but possibly have given the world a reform. Possibly, you know? Because if it comes to light to the likes of Deku or anything like that, the Commission, you know, had put a plan in place that essentially got the likes of Best Jeanist, you know, killed by Hawks or whatever, that immediately puts distrust between, you know, and then it becomes a case of who's good and who's not, you know. So you can almost have this kind of like Liberation Army is almost like a, you know, like that trigger to cause reform, whether or not they, you know, if they don't win in the end. It's insane to think, isn't it? So yeah, I mean, Slide and Go is with the Liberation Army. I thought it was like interesting, like the fact of like he just showed up you know, a couple episodes ago, and it was just like, okay, there he is, I guess. You know, that he wasn't going to show up again in some form or fashion. But again, I guess that's like kind of just teasing like this whole thing of they're kind of among us anyway, you know, sus. And then he just turns up and he's you know, he's part of this Liberation Army. And it's going to be interesting to see if there's like anybody else we know that is actually a part of this. And we just, you know, I mean, in the opening itself, we've seen a lot of new characters. So I'm assuming that's what they are. The guy with the pointy nose seems to be the prevalent one. Like, he's at the head of it somehow, since he had a lot more sort of, I guess, time in the opening. And I assume that's the guy who goes by Chikazoku, is what it said in the subtitles. He didn't, no one actually said his name, but obviously after reacting to it, I had to go back through with subtitles on just to make sure that I got all the information I needed, and it says that his name was Chikazoku, so I assume that Chikazoku is the guy with the insanely pointy nose. They've installed micro devices on Hawk's wings, so basically, yeah, that is the reason why obviously Hawks can't give away his plan to Endeavor at that point in time and everything. I mean, even the way that he was describing, like, you know, look at the highlight parts, especially the second part, like, even saying that, I feel like is almost a bit too much. Like, I feel like you're giving away the fact that you're trying to, like, you know, you're trying to get Endeavor to understand who the real enemy is here, because obviously they can hear everything that is going on, that Hawks is saying and everything, and you would think they would be a bit gullible, like if they didn't actually think that he's trying to, you know, get this information across, like, you know, sneakily, slyly even. Because when you're saying, like, you know, check the highlighted parts, especially the second part, like, it's, you know what I mean, like, it seems a bit too, he put a bit too much on there, possibly like underestimating like Endeavor's perceptiveness, you know. I mean, we even got a we got a look at his perception earlier on in the episode, where before shit even hit the fan, he was already, you know, he was ready to fight. You know, so yeah. But I mean, I guess if that's the thing, is like, if Hawks didn't point out the whole, you know, I mean, looking through the book and noticing that there are highlighted parts, that's one thing. But then it's a case of like, how much longer would it have taken if he didn't specifically say second part? So, you know, there's things like that. But yeah, this is definitely going to be interesting. And also during that conversation as well, Hawks brought up this whole thing of offering freedom to limited people will give burden to the others. Almost saying, like, I guess it's almost like there's some, I guess there's some self-centered nature to whatever this, you know, to the Liberation Army and what they're actually hoping for in regards to like their agenda of what they want society to be. Like, almost as if, like, you know, for those who are powerful enough to be heroes that have to go out and save others, it's almost like a burden to them that, you know, no, you look after your own life, you know, we'll look after our own life and our own interests. That's basically what it sounds like to me, you know. But then, you know, it's a case of like, are they fighting for peace or are they just fighting for power at that point, you know? I don't, you know. Because then, like, what do you just... I mean, then you're just allowing people to use their power in whichever way they see fit for their own interests anyway, that people are going to use them for bad regardless. So it's going to be interesting, like, going forward, like, what they're hoping for, what they're trying to achieve at the end, you know. And I assume that the Star Servant guy, he is somebody who, I mean, you could see that, like, the people, like, they recognized who he was, almost like he was a hero before, that, you know, he's obviously one that has joined the Liberation Army, and I mean, he's got a weird way of talking about him, and I don't know if that was before he joined the Liberation Army, or it's because he's now just been like, you know what I mean, like once he's been inducted into the whole thing, it's almost like he's, because I mean, I called him almost like being a preacher, you know, like he's similar to like those guys who, you know, like on the side of the street that like scream like the end of the world is nigh and everything like that, and like you know, and they're pointing to Endeavor as the guy who's going to bring it down and everything like that, which, you know, it's almost like he's been, what's the word, man? Shit. Begins with I just can't remember it. Shit. Like, what's the term for like, you know, for like, for example, like when kids, you know, if you're talking about like, you know, the Taliban, for example, right? I mean, that's a heavy topic at the moment, but, you know, the idea that like they indoctrinate, that's it. It's almost like the way that he was talking almost seems like he would have been like indoctrinated by the whole thing, and therefore he's almost like he's preaching this as some sort of like gospel. But like I said, like because obviously we haven't seen him before, I don't know if he was like this before joining the Liberation Army. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, interesting. Tokoyami is at Hawk's agency, but he's under the he's basically working under the sidekicks. So there's that. The new opening I really like. That goes along with the tone as well. I feel like like I noticed it as soon as it started. Like it felt so different, you know. I like that they go along with the tone for that. I really do. It almost like has some, you know. I remember like back in the first half of season 3 for Attack on Titan, where I remember like I don't particularly, I like the, you know, the opening song for what it is, but I don't like it in terms of I don't think that the tone is right, you know. Like it doesn't match up for me, that one, you know. So but I feel like with this the tone is spread across and it feels like the right way. I feel like this is a darker arc. It could be like the turning point for darkness for the rest of the show. It possibly could be, you know. But yeah, I definitely feel that tone change, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we're going to be going up against. I just hope that Best Genius is all right, but he might he might not be, man. He might not be. It's just what's in that bag, man. You see, that's the thing. Like with My Hero Academia, like then they've. Is this a show? Is this a story that will go that dark? Would it really? Because I mean, that is a small bag for such a tall man. I don't think. I mean, I guess it's different if we don't see it. But if it's just implied that he's been cut up and in there, oh god, I don't know if this story would go that dark. I really don't. Because it can go to dark places. I don't know. It's just something we'll just have to wait and see. But I just feel like, damn, that like really sucks for Best Genius, because I mean, for most of us, he was dead when he went up against All For One. You know, we were like, no way is he surviving that, and he did. He ended up losing a lung. And then, like, you know, he's recovered and everything. He's ready to get back in action. And then all of a sudden he's taken out again. I don't know. I just don't know. And how would he, like... Well, first of all, right, it was a reason truly for him being there. You know? Come to check up on his mate. Is what Best Genius would have thought. But if he's got micro devices in his wings... I don't know. It almost didn't seem like a mission given to him by the Liberation Army to go there. It was more so like what Dabby was saying, to prove loyalty. But if they're just listening in on everything that's going on, you would have to assume that him being, you know, at Best Jeanist's house, they were keeping something from Slide and Go. And now I'm thinking about it, I need to go back and have a look at that, because there's something that is said, where it's almost like they were keeping from Slide and Go. They were putting across this idea that he went out to get a coffee. But Chika Zoku seemed to think that like went along with it and said something. So let's have a look here. You almost bought black coffee and freaked out. I'm wondering if that's like a... You know? I'm wondering if that's code for whatever happened with Best Jeanist, and I don't know though. I mean, I don't know really to what degree, like, you know, you almost bought black coffee and freaked out. What can I say? I like it sweet. I don't know, like... Because they had to have been listening... Like, I mean, they're always listening into him, clearly, right? So they know that something went down there with Best Jeanist. Oh, fuck's sake. And I know Best Jeanist is smart, but realistically, is there any way that he could, like, somehow warn Best Jeanist to somehow fake his death? I don't even think that's possible, to be honest. When they talk about micro devices, are they talking about audio only, or is there somehow, you know, video as well? Because if it's video, then that definitely removes anything, like he can't write down on a piece of paper, and shit like that. I don't know, man. I'm just worried. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, so Bakugo has decided to go with as well to Endeavor's agency, which I really like. We had All Might basically saying, like, no, this is a good idea, because in terms of, you know, Bakugo and Endeavor, they are similar. And being under that could, you know, it can only help, I feel like. It can only help Bakugo's, you know, learning and everything. So yeah, that will be interesting. Like I was saying during the during that moment, I really like seeing them converse, you know. Characters that we've known for so long and they've never like kind of acknowledged each other, and then having that is really nice. And even like with Deku, even though we have had that before, it has all like it's been so long ago that, you know, the last time they talked, Deku was, you know, Deku gave Endeavor like some harsh words, you know. So it's interesting to see that, and you know, he's basically saying, like, you know, you only wanted Shoto to be there, and that, you know, that he's only there to really protect Shoto. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that like relationship between the lot of them develops, and where this new arc goes, because I'm excited for it, man. I feel like it's that big that I kind of want it to last longer than Season 5. Like, I almost wanted to go into Season 6 and everything like that, because I feel like there can be so much to go on with this. It feels like there is a lot that you can really delve into, and I feel like I don't want it to be rushed, you know? I don't want it to be just an 11, 12 episode thing that is starts and then ends in that time, because I feel like this is much bigger than everything previously. Like, this is a societal thing. This is like politics. So, you know, I feel like it's something that can't go away in such a short space of time. So We'll see, but I'm very excited. So yeah, I hope you're excited for it too. But yeah, so that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I've linked to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access. So you can get access to shows a week early. There's the full-length tier, which gives you access to full-length reactions to all the shows that I do. And then there is the exclusive tier, which gives you full-length access to movie reactions, everything like that. So yes, I will be doing a movie reaction tomorrow. Okay, so look forward to that. And yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.